A few days after Southland's historic Hawke Cup victory over Counties Manukau at the weekend, first time the boys arrived back in Invercargill on Monday with the Hawke Cup for the first time since 1992, and with me I've got Jason Domigan, who was a player in the team and also Southland Cricket Association General Manager. Jason, just tell us about the last few days. I mean, I would imagine obviously the celebrations, but as well as a lot of support coming in for what's a big day for a big moment for Southland cricket.
Yeah, absolutely, Logan. It's just been phenomenal, really. So going up there and managing to bring the cup home to where it sort of all started, 108 years ago, and the amount of support that we had following that was fantastic. And I think what we sort of talked about after the game a lot was not just what it just meant for us in that playing group, but particularly over the last 26 years, the number of players that have played for Southland and not managed to get their hands on it. So there was a bit of this was for them, and there were certainly some celebrations for those guys too that had tried but hadn't quite been able to sort of get across the line. But over the last few days, plenty of celebrating, and a little bit of time just to reflect on I guess what we'd achieved as a team. 2 years of work, really, or 3 years probably, but 2 years unbeaten as a side now, and then to cap that off with a dominant performance to win the cup is really pleasing. So.
Yeah, I guess looking at the game, before the game, going into it, you were missing two of the better players, or maybe maybe some would say the best players in the team, and Harsh Vizavadia and Jacob Duffy, who were unavailable. You also against the Counties Manukau team that had been pretty dominant. A lot of people probably would have given yourself limited chances, but before the game, talking to you and some of the other players, I sensed a real belief that you could and would do the job up there. Where did that sort of belief come from?
Well, I think it comes from the fact that we have, like I said, over those last 2 years, we've stood up in those pressure moments and we've won the big moments, and that gave us a belief that regardless of who we came up against, we could get that job done. We took a lot of belief out of last year against Bay of Plenty. The same sort of thing happened. We lost Amarpreet Singh and Hamish O'Brien leading into that challenge, and we went up there and really put the acid on a high quality team stacked with first class players. So going up to counties again, shame that Harsh and Jacob couldn't be there with us, but that created an opportunity for two new guys to come in and take that. And I think that's the really pleasing thing about the performance, is that everybody contributed, whether it was with bat, ball or in the field. And we didn't have that standout performance. Nobody took a bag load of wickets or scored a massive score, but everybody contributed just to get the job done. And that's again I think speaks volumes of what the team's sort of been about over the last couple of seasons.
I guess you personally, I mean, obviously you floated the idea a couple of seasons ago about possibly hanging up the up the gear, but stepped in. Obviously, it was a void to fill there within the group, and a couple of seasons on, you'll be pretty pleased you hung it in there and were able to bring the Hawke Cup back, I suppose. Yeah,
absolutely. I mean, Hoddy and I both played a lot of cricket, especially Hoddy for Southland, and we sort of talked about the fact that our challenge after the Manawatu one and failing to get one 2 years ago, that we probably wouldn't be playing a challenge again. I was quite happy to sort of leave it now to the other guys, but as sort of fate would have it, a couple of injuries and my form being pretty decent warranted me coming back in, and haven't really looked back since then. So it's amazing how things turn out, but very, very happy for me, time for me in terms of 15 years sort of been playing Hawke Cup cricket, almost 50 games now across 3 provinces, but to finally lift it is really rewarding, and I guess for the perseverance and
absolutely.
and sticking with it. So
And the other hat on, Southland Cricket Association General Manager, you must be really wrapped what this could do for Southland Cricket and what it has done for.
I mean, that'll probably be the thing now, is how do we what does it actually mean for the province and for cricket in the province. So we've managed to get the trophies to a few of the junior teams, the Verdon First 11, Southland boys, year 7, 8s, and the Invercargill Metro under 15s have all had a photo with the trophy, and we just talked about what it meant, and you'll see, how the kids react to it is, that's pretty cool. So what we do now over the winter with it here, that's something we'll think about over the next couple of weeks. But yeah, absolutely, it builds for again, another promising season for next year. So absolutely stoked to sort of have it here for the winter.
And the likelihood, I know we're pretty early after winning it, but the likelihood about us managing to be able to keep a lot of these guys together and having a crack at defending it next season?
Yeah, I mean, I'd expect that we will lose some players. It's just the nature of the beast in terms of amateur sport. But I think we've got a really good structure, a really good base. And I guess I'll sit down with Steve Jackson, the coach, and talk about where he's at, and then we start rebuilding and planning for next year. So that's the exciting part of it. Sort of knowing that the cup's here, and now we've got a new challenge, preparing to defend it. But that gives us something we haven't had to deal with before. So another challenge for us as a group about how we sort of come back next season and continue to improve and be better.
So just to explain to people what happens now, I mean, obviously we now hold the Hawke Cup throughout the winter months, which is great, and then next season you go on to play Southern Zone games, and then the challenges start from there, and hopefully you'll end up with 4 challenges at Queen's Park and Invercargill, all going to plan. Yeah,
so that is the plan. I mean, for us it's business as usual in the first part of the season, so it'll be like you said, the Southern Zone, so trying to go along and win that, regardless of whether we win it or not. We take the first challenge from our zone, so if we win it, second place challenges, and if we don't, then the top team will still come and challenge us here at Queen's Park. So one to tick off, and then we'll have the 3 other zones come down to Queen's Park and try and wrestle the cup from us. And so I mean, again, exciting. It's good to have it back, and an opportunity there for just to sort of hopefully relive some of those glory days from those teams that have been past. So again, just a really exciting time for Southland cricket.
And just finally, you mentioned Steve Jackson before. 2001, he started as a Southland coach. Great reward for the hours he's put in, voluntary hours, I suppose, getting the job done. Yeah,
absolutely. I mean, Jacko's been a big part of that. We talked a lot about the culture within the side. Hawke Cup cricket changed a wee bit, sort of over the last sort of 10 to 20 years, and we sat down and talked about what it meant to us, and Jacko was the real instigator in that. Got the group together and thought about, well, if we're serious about challenging it, then we need to change, how we approach playing for Southland, and I think, like you say, great reward for him, and the other people too that have been part of the process. Great to have like Sir Murray Fitzgibbon there, who's managed the side for a long time. Get that reward again for the years that he's put in, and hopefully the wider Southland cricket community too. So I mean, there's some great names and that have played for that cup and haven't got there, but it was great to see all those guys supporting us and sending messages through, and and sort of helping us get across the line there on that final day. Excellent.
Okay, congratulations again, and enjoy the winter months with the Hawke Cup.
Will do. Thanks, Logan.
Cheers.